pretty sick right here. Very deep wards coming out from Trick2g's side, though, putting one all the way back down to make sure there's no lane swap shenanigans going down either. VoyBoy's team, in the meantime, across the map, puts one down at the blue buff on the enemy side just to make sure they have their own deep ward coverage as well.
Yeah, and clever use of SirhcEz Tremor Sense passive from Trick2g's team coming out here. They were sure that when they saw Twitch walk away that he was present, but they knew that no one else was available in the jungle based on that Tremor Sense passive, and they were pretty safe to get that deep vision. Of course, VoyBoy's team smart to respond, seeing all 5 members in that jungle, knowing that they could go into, of course, Trick2g's jungle and get that vision themselves. So just a little bit of early vision trading. Won't be any surprise here to see these jungle starts from either team. But I am excited to see how this early game works out, and most importantly, this jungle matchup. ThinkCard is proved in the past he's a proficient jungler, but can he handle the UDYR, and will he be able to put out the same level of counter jungling that he did last game against Nightblue's Rengar?
We see a hard leash coming for the UDYR himself in the red buff area. VoyBoy's team knows this, though, as they've warded both buffs at the start of the game, so they know where UDYR is going to start, but where he will go, well, that's going to be a big question here. Looks like he's going for one buff, potentially right over to the other one. ThinkCard did start at his own red buff now, maybe looking for a level 2 gank on this top lane. RecSci, ping's going down, red buff is available. Flag and drag has been learned. RecSci getting a little bit aggressive onto Zen the Solo King. ThinkCard in the brush, the RF Legendary already down to half HP from these flame spitters. The red buff slow goes out, the flag and drag, the flash is blown. ThinkCard trying to go deep, tanks 1 but 2 tower shots. RecSci barely able to escape from that gank.
Yeah, and I was about to talk about how when RecSci is underground, you'll easily be able to see that Jarvan coming, but it appears that he spent the whole time above ground, and when you're level 1, a little tough to survive those Jarvan ganks. Does have to blow the flash, but because nothing came of it, you know that Trick2g is going to have a small advantage in the jungle because he's able to just get that much more time clearing. RecSci immediately teleporting back top, back to level 2, and now the lane matchup appears to have evened out a little bit.
Well, RecSci has been able to pick up a ward and fill our Legendary's inventory with 5 health potions to sustain up in this lane matchup. Zen the Solo King started cloth armor. 5 health potions, still has what looks like 4 to his own name, so it doesn't look like, even though there might be a lot of trading going on in top lane, I highly doubt anybody's going to be getting any solo kills early on in this game. Do you see actually, oh, Trick2g was trying to stop the recall of Zen the Solo King right there, but the auto attack did not come out in enough time to cancel the recall, so UDYR's not going to be able to get a stun proc on that one, so maybe a little bit unfortunate for him. Mid lane matchup, Diana, not necessarily the strongest laner, does have a lot of sustain on the side right here, though. Has picked up a crystalline flask in addition to 2 health potions. Lissandra, though, just being able to abuse her with that range and a lot of spell damage coming out from those Qs.
Yeah, and despite the fact that Diana is not going to be able to trade with Lissandra in the early game, Lissandra also doesn't really offer that much kill pressure in lane. So when she blows her cooldowns, you know, if VoyBoy dodges him, he gets to CS for free. If he doesn't, he still gets to walk up and CS regardless. And he's not under a whole ton of pressure there in that lane at all. So it'll be interesting to see if Jarvan can apply a little bit more, or if UDYR can apply pressure against VoyBoy's Diana pick.
Ooh. Ethel taking a lot of trade damage in this bottom lane. We actually saw Soraka and Corki lane getting a lot of forward pressure on this Twitch and Janna lane. It's kind of how we thought it was going to go in Champion Select, though.
Well, one thing to consider here is that it's already a favorable matchup for Corki, and then on top of that, you have Soraka there to provide the heals. But you can see that Soraka's at full health, which means that Sicko Scott is not only landing the Qs, but that really the heals haven't been too necessary just because they've picked themselves into such a, such an advantaged lane.
Well, right now we do see, actually across the map, RecSci coming back on the advantage of her own 23 CS compared to 19, despite being forced out early, and we got some potential proxy farm going down here. RF Legendary clearing out the waves behind Zen the Solo King's tower. Rumble not really able to respond to how much pressure that RecSci pick is really putting on top lane.
And RecSci's Q is just so strong at clearing those waves. Her, not only does it buff your attack damage, but it also functionally gives you a Tiamat for 3 attacks. So if any champion other than Singe is going to be able to proxy farm, it's probably going to be RecSci. So much mobility coming out from those tunnels too. You can see RF Legendary using them all the time. Rumble really not able to try to shut those down at this point in the game just because RecSci can instantly be on top of him.
RecSci's mobility is going to be a little bit of an issue for Rumble in that top lane. Meanwhile, mid lane matchup, VoyBoy has not gone back quite yet, actually with a slight CS advantage now over Strumpus on Lissandra. Had burned through a lot of his mana, even though Strumpus is going to be getting a couple of free spells every now and then, not going be enough to keep his mana bar super high without any sort of blue buff or mana potions in his inventory. SirhcEz, in the meantime, there's a lot of trade damage went down. He ate a Howling Gale from John that was allowing Twitch to stack up the poison and really use the expunge quite well in that bottom. I'm sorry, the contaminate now is no longer expunge. Sorry about that, guys. But being able to put a lot of damage down. But speaking of a lot of damage, our Legendary getting dropped down really low. His Cursed Thing card able to get a Flag Dragon Flash, picking up first blood on RecSize aggression top lane.
Yeah, excellent decision making coming out from Jarvan there, ganking the top lane where Flash was still available. And that's kind of the play we've come to expect from ThinkCard. Smart rotational play, excellent decision making when it comes to gank. In the bot lane, we did see when Twitch went all in on that Janna, we saw, or all in on that Soraka, it was because Soraka is going to transfer all of her health to Corki anyway, so there's no point in prioritizing damage there. And one of the big things to consider here is that because of Corki's nerfed Phosphorus Bomb, Twitch is actually able to dodge it pretty efficiently now, unless it's placed perfectly on top of him.
Well, looks like right now we have just a little bit of trades going on in the bottom lane. All those RecSize tunnels in the meantime up top were stepped on and demolished after RecSize goes down. So limited mobility from the side now of RF Legendary, but without having any sort of resource like mana, just relying on cooldowns, those tunnels will be up and functional not too long from now. RF Legendary is just going to be content to keep the wave over towards his side of the map and continue to CS it back up. 38 compared to 42 CS in the top lane as Rumble has actually completed a haunting guys off of that assist in that top lane. It's going to be a lot of spell penetration coming in. And RecSize, she dished out the damage, but she's not the best at taking it.
Yeah. RecSize build not really giving her too many defensive stats here. A little bit of health from the Doran's Blades, but Haunting Guys is just such a strong item in lane. Magic Pen health and more damage for those abilities. It's going to be really hard for RecSize to trade efficiently at this point, and we're probably going to see Rumble start to push in this lane now that he doesn't really have to be afraid of the 1v1 matchup at all.
So one thing we haven't really seen is all too much action from Captain Trick2g in the jungle. He has gone for mobility boots, and he does have his own Ranger's Trailblazer picked up already. No enchantment upgrade on that one. No indication of items in his inventory, going for the mobility instead. Actually, mid lane, Stromba's getting jumped on by VoyBoy, had to pop his ultimate on himself. ThinkCard comes in, hits level 6, pops the Cataclysm, but he actually goes down under tower right there. So Stromba's able to pick up a kill for himself after a bad trade situation in mid lane.
And this is excellent build decision from VoyBoy to grab that Negatron cloak early, knowing Lyssandra's mostly dependent on base damages, and knowing that she's pretty much forced into that Zhonya's buy in this lane. So despite the fact that VoyBoy himself doesn't do too much damage outside of his bases, he's able to outtrade the Lysandra purely because he can do more damage and has stronger auto attacks at this point in the game. Of course, ThinkCard a little overextending there. RF Legendary getting aggressive in the top lane.
Yeah, he's trying to bait it out. Flash over the wall. In comes Trick2g getting a stun down on Zen the Solo King. The flash away from that one. Bear stances pop. Trying to chase up the Scrap Shield, going to give a little bit of extra damage there. Actually, a little bit of extra protection as well as move speed. Dropping out extremely low. 20 HP was what was left on Rumble, but Zen the Solo King able to get himself out of that one.
And while we saw UDYR do a ton of damage there, that's one of the big strengths of Rumble against UDYR, is that in a sustained fight, Rumble has that Flame Spitter, which is a huge option. But in a burst fight like that, where Rumble wants to run away, he has an excellent option in both the slow and the speed buff and shield to not have to fight the UDYR and to be able to get away pretty easily.
Well, speaking of getaways, SirhcEz barely going to be able to survive that bottom lane trade. The healer coming out from Corki in that situation, he turned into the support there, and the healer in the lane as it wound up trying to get SirhcEz out of that situation, was able to succeed. Now Jarvan wrapping around the area. No wards over there from the side of Trick2g's army. ThinkCard's able to pick himself up. Yet another kill. 3-1-0. He's every single kill on VoyBoy's team right now. He's everywhere.
One of the big downsides of the Soraka pick in this case is that with starting Ancient Coin, you lose so many defensive stats, and normally it doesn't matter because Soraka's not in the line of fire, but when you have an aggressive jungler like J4, and when Soraka doesn't have that ult available, she has no way to heal herself outside of landing Qs, and the healing from that isn't huge. So J4 easily just able to EQ combo there, and I expect to see that more and more as the spot lane continues, because Janna herself is always going to be able to do more as a character than Soraka is going to be able to do, but of course Janna's ability to buff her ADC is almost irrelevant in the face of Soraka's healing.
See VoyBoy getting aggressive down onto Strumpus. Strumpus immediately having to pop the Ring of Frost to slow down VoyBoy's advance in that mid lane matchup. VoyBoy must be pretty glad that they put that Negatron cloak back in 4.21 because it's really helping Diana in this matchup against Strumpus on Lissandra, because Diana's able to get really, really tanky by going for extra points in her shield. He's actually gotten 2 points in that one and has maxed out Crescent Striker here to try to poke back against Lissandra. VoyBoy's definitely having an easier time than we thought in this matchup.
And Lissandra, while she has strong wave clear, it's all very short range, so she does leave herself open to trades. Trick2g coming in here.
VoyBoy is going to get popped up by the Ring of Frost. The ultimate coming out from Stromp as well, but VoyBoy goes in, able to pick up a kill here. Lissandra's able to get the kill back from the tower on that one, but UDYR and SirhcEz roaming into mid lane, able to pick up assists on VoyBoy for that one, but still, really good job by the boy to trade it into a 1v1 trade situation.
And maybe overextending a lot there, but I do think that alting VoyBoy over Strumpus alting himself was probably a poor choice, just because the stun from Trick2g would have been enough, and that extra few seconds where she didn't take damage in any form, especially from VoyBoy's Ignite in that case, may have ended up saving him and turned it into a 1-for-0 instead of that 1-for-1 trade. But still, excellent play coming off their team to pick that up. A little unfortunate that VoyBoy got it there.
Speaking of trades, RF Legendary picking up a solo kill on the Solo King himself in top lane. Really good stuff coming out from Rek'Sai. That's just double Doran's Blade and a Null Magic Mantle too. No really big damaging items coming out quite yet from that one. Haunting Eyes and a Seeker's Arm Guard on Rumble in the meantime. Really, really good trade coming out from RF Legendary up there.
And one of the things about Rek'Sai is that just so much burst from the base abilities. Thinkard is going aggressive on Astralis in the mid lane, though.
Ooh, here comes Trick2g, though, just around the side. VoyBoy going super aggressive, gets stunned in tower range. I mean, he's got a full health bar right here. Don't even think the God Deer is going to be able to take him down in that one. And Stromp is just getting wrecked mid lane right now.
Yeah, Stromp is having a really hard time. Obviously, and very squishy at this point. Ethel in trouble.
Yeah, speaking of being wrecked, Rek'Sai comes in here with a teleport gank in the bottom lane, but in comes Zen, the Solo King. Biofrost is left alive, but taking a lot of damage after Ethel wound up going down in that one. RF Legendary putting down the pokes onto Zen, the Solo King. But here comes Thinkard. He's got no Cataclysm available, but he's got VoyBoy for support. Flashback from Zerbat to go into RF Legendary. He winds up unburrowing, gets the knock-up right there. VoyBoy, as well as Thinkard, taking down low. Zen, the Solo King, taking down low too. Janna was able to get the kill in that situation. But here going on the Corki Rockets, the Valkyrie forward. VoyBoy goes back in. He's able to help pick up a kill. He's still alive from the shield. 2 kills picked up from VoyBoy's team. They turn the trade around, and once again, Sifa, they pick up a 3-for-0 in their favor. VoyBoy's team somehow turning these trades around.
Yeah, and one thing we see from VoyBoy's team is consistently that confident play to turn around. We saw Corki doing so much damage to their team as a whole, and a lot of that was because the whole team sat in front of the Gatling gun. Rek'Sai sounds like he's coming in, but it's just a movement to the top lane there. That's gonna trip me up forever. I'm always gonna be like, where's he gonna go? Okay, just back to lane. I guess it's a minute cooldown, so no big deal. Exciting.
I only have my in-game volume on 9% right now, and that was terrifying. Holy crap.
I mean, it's better than the lock-in sound where he sounds like a dolphin. Let's be real.
Can you please imitate that sound for us? Or
I can't imitate that. I actually can't, believe it or not. My dolphin sound effects are limited. But I bet that you, with your wide array of voice work experience, could probably give us an excellent dolphin sound.
Sorry, I'm not Shock's tier, so I'm not even going to try. However, VoyBoy's team is going to take away Trick2g's red buff. Now with the lanes being in a position where they're in VoyBoy's favor mid lane and his team's favor in the bottom lane, they're going to be able to invade the enemy jungle, and that's where Trick2g is really going to start to suffer right now. He's gone for the home guard and the boots of mobility. He's tried to switch up his style to ganking for that mid lane to try to get Strumpus in a better position, but now that he just is built for pure mobility, he doesn't necessarily have a lot of raw damage to fight them in the jungle. Rangers Trailblazer with no upgrade for him, whereas on the opposite side, Thinkard wound up rushing for that warrior first, so he's got extra damage. Damage in the bottom lane goes down there as Ethel just gets obliterated by Strumpus and Zerbic. The roam from Lissandra paying off. There's 3 members in the bottom lane here. Trick2g is left in the top side of the map though, so they might not go for Dragon quite yet. RF Legendary gets jumped on by Thinkard, but a quick pop-up under tower realizes, hey, Thinkard's not going to be able to turn that one around really that easily. Rek'Sai just providing a lot of crowd control as well as damage. Even if it's just a quick knock-up from that one, 2 tower shots went off on the Jarvan and dissuaded him from continuing down there.
And in the bot lane, we did see that Lissandra pick coming in huge there. They've identified how weak the Twitch is in this early game, and they're totally utilizing that against them. and making that pick and then now transitioning it into a dragon. Excellent choice from the team, and ThinkCard putting himself in a tough spot. Did not see that dragon attempt coming, probably didn't see the bot lane gank coming either, and so as a result, totally unable to contest this, despite the fact that he has in the past shown himself to be excellent at stealing dragon.
Well, this is an evolution we see from Trick2g. I guess just their overall team philosophy. Last week when Trick was the captain, they went 0-3, and dragon control was one of their weaker points. However, in this game, they're the first one to pick up a dragon for their team, and while that's not going to give them the global gold, it is going to give them stats-wise a lot of gold that VoyBoy's team doesn't have right now. 6% extra AD and AP, which you can see being put to great use right here is SirhcEz and SirhcEz able to pick up an easy kill onto Ethel. That Twitch into Corki matchup really starting to show the favor for Corki right now. RF Legendary and Trick2g, they're getting caught out on their own jungle. VoyBoy as well as Zen the Solo King coming in here with ThinkCard. They're able to pick up a kill on RF Legendary on RecSci. Trick2g is able to get away, but it's a 1-for-1 trade for both sides across the map.
In the bot lane, we did see Corki obviously bursting down that Twitch really quickly there. The silence stopping Twitch from being able to get out in any way, shape, or form. This is just the power spike that Corki gets from that Trinity.
Yo, guys, why is it lagging,
Twitch
man?
At this point, while he may have excellent sustain damage, there is no way he's able to match the burst that Corki can put out. And, you know, this is kind of what we are going to expect to see.
Yo, why is it lagging?
Twitch at this point, 0-3.
Oh my god, help me.
It's going to be hard for him to go back there.
Sorry, guys.
I expect to see him freeze. Of course, that play in the side lane.
Right, you didn't miss anything.
No surprise from VoyBoy's team there. Definitely. All
right, hold on.
Always looking to make those picks and transition them.
Let me see if I can fix this. Is it even loading? I'm gonna move it up just a tad bit. See if it resets it. Alright, let's see if it resets.
Plays we've seen from VoyBoy's previous opponents.
Alright.
Yeah, and this is the way that it was working out last week when they played too. Trick2g's team was the
opposite. What the fuck happened?
VoyBoy's team 0-3.
Hold on, guys. I don't know why it's lagging.
Compared to 3-0, but it was the closest game of the entire OMEN encounter last week. Not disappointing in this matchup either. We do see Trick continuing to go up towards that top lane, helping RF Legendary pick up a kill on Zen the Solo King. Strampus, in the meantime, does use the ultimate on himself, and then the Ice Tomb comes out. They turn the kill around on the ThinkCard. VoyBoy continuing to chase through, though. He has a lot of damage trying to get onto Strampus right here, but he's also going through a Corki and a Soraka. VoyBoy's able to pick up a kill, but he immediately goes down to Corki. Now in comes a teleport from RF Legendary. Poking going out from both RecSci and Corki. A flash away from John is going to keep him alive right there. The same exact time, a tower goes down. It looks like in the top lane here for the red team, it's going to be 2 towers compared to 1 for the side of Trick2g's army. More kills going in their favor in a 3rd tower. All the outer towers down now in favor of the blue side for Trick2g.
And they're at the point now where RF Legendary and Trick2g are going to be able to roam together, which is especially dangerous. A lot because these players are particularly, they know each other really well and know their strengths and weaknesses. And similarly, you have 2 champions who are highly mobile, have a lot of CC and a lot of burst damage. So just excellent for making picks. Combine that with Lissandra, and suddenly we can force a team fight anywhere at any time. So I'm really excited to see how they use this mid-game spike, and if VoyBoy's team, despite their maybe superior teamfight AoE damage, can get the teamfight that they want, or if they're just going to be out-rotated and out-maneuvered by this Trick2g lineup.
Well, we're going to have to see. Dragon's not going to be on the map for quite some time as of yet, but Baron's going to be spawning in about a minute. While none of these teams are really going to be going for it that early in the game, the positional advantages that Trick2g's team might be able to garner could put that as a big thing on the map for them. Strampus is going to be able to just away from an closing in pincer maneuver from VoyBoy Squadron. The Glacial Path able to get him out of that one. Speaking of ward coverage now for a moment, VoyBoy's team still has great forward aggressive ward coverage. The same thing is going down for Trick2g's team. Both of these sides not really clearing out wards as much as they're placing them. We do see a lot of sweepers coming up from VoyBoy's team now, though. 4 of them picked up in addition to a scrying orb. Trick2g's side, mid laner Strampus still has his warding totem. 3 sweepers coming out for the side of the blue team, and 1 scrying orb picked up for SirhcEz himself. So the vision game really going to be contested right now. With an extra sweeper on VoyBoy's side, you would think they would be the ones to gain control of it, but we'll have to see. Like you said, the movement from Trick2g's side been a very big strong point for them in the OMEN encounter.
Yeah, and Trick2g picking UDYR as a champion alone is going to make it much, much harder for ThinkCard to counter jungle or to force those fights in the jungle, just because UDYR is much more mobile, a much better duelist, and can definitely survive those ganks longer, unlike Nightblue's Rengar, and especially given that Nightblue's Rengar was behind in the previous game, whereas Trick2g is actually doing pretty well for himself this game. 118 CS, 002, has a pretty solid amount of gold and is looking to finish that Triforce at at around the 20-minute mark, which is really strong.
The Triforce is going to provide a burst of damage from the jungler too that you might not be expecting. He's actually on the upgrade on his Ranger's Trailblazer to go for this bigger ticket item. The Trinity of Force, we've seen it be a power spike for AD carries. Definitely going to be a power spike for the UDYR damage in these team fights as well. Ranger's Trailblazer with a Warrior picked up for the other side for ThinkCard. He's going to be building straight tanky after that one, going for a Randuin's Omen. They're going to want that, of course, for the disengage, so that I'm gonna call them run at you champions like UDYR and Lissandra. You know, the ones that just want to give chase to the enemy team aren't necessarily going to be able to close the gaps as easily. Dragon's going to be a big point of contention. Now that's going to be spawning in about 25 minutes, and both teams did a great job basically leaving each other blind by that area. Just wards over by the entrances to the river, but nothing around Dragon Pit yet.
Yeah, and clever ward placement on this bottom side of the map. You know, we saw that single ward above where VoyBoy's team is currently standing has revealed the entire team and ruined this attempt at a pick here. Will Trick2g's team be able to utilize this and turn it into anything? Probably not, but at the same time, they are completely aware and don't really have to worry about any map pressure, knowing that all 5 members of that team are around that area.
Well, Trick2g's team does have a slight gold advantage, only about 2,000 gold at maximum, but the kills are in favor of VoyBoy's team, so they're playing this in a little bit cautiously. Trick2g, though, coming on the opposite side, puts a pink ward down, but VoyBoy's team's going to even up the dragons at 1 apiece. VoyBoy's team has excelled in these after dragon fights. Trick2g's team looks like they want to try to disengage, trying to get some damage on. ThinkCard actually, he's going to get blown up over the wall off Legendary, and Zerbic being able to pick up a kill on that one. Looks like HAIRLINE was the one that picked up a kill, but it's a 1-for-0 trade. The dragon did go down, but at the same time, Captain Trick2g going up towards that second tier mid lane tower. VoyBoy's trying to get him to stop there, but in comes the rest of the team. The equalizer goes out. Trick's caught on the wrong side of the tower, flashes away. Bear Stance comes out, but Zerbic on the backside, they blow up Rumble. He got locked up in an ice cube, and he gets melted by the enemy team. Ethel now getting flashed on by RF Legendary. The Soraka Wish comes out. Trick2g gets away. Now it's a 3-for-0 trade for the side of the Trick2g army, and they're continuing to press down on this mid lane tower.
Excellent use of the gold advantage, excellent use of their comp there, providing lots of teamfight CC. Really awkward Janna ult coming out from Biofrost, pushing RF Legendary out of the Rumble ult. Maybe not what he was hoping. A little bit lackluster communication from VoyBoy's team at this point. We do see ThinkCard coming in, though.
ThinkCard
will he be able to do anything?
He cataclysms in, but Zerbic's able to blow him up. He's unstoppable. VoyBoy comes in here. Stromp is taken low, but the heal comes out from Corki. RF Legendary picks up a kill on VoyBoy. Biofrost gets knocked up. The Howling Gale comes out, a flash away from Janna as well. Trick2g's team, they get the tower. They stay a little bit too long, but they pick up even more kills. And you know what's happening the whole time? Trick2g's open up gates in top lane. Down goes another tower. It's 5 towers to 1. Trick2g's team, decisive gold advantage now, 39.8k to 33.8k. It is going to be 6,000 solid gold after VoyBoy's team took the dragon in favor of the blue side.
Impressive rotations coming out here from Trick2g's team as a whole. One thing I do want to talk about is that last week when we saw Trick2g's team fall behind in the early game, Trick2g's split pushing strat took a long time to get started up, but now that they have this mid-game advantage, it's so much more reliable because they don't need to commit as many people to a fight, and they can disengage and engage on their terms, which is exactly what Trick2g is all about. So at this point in the game, VoyBoy has to be very careful because who is going to fight that UDYR? Who is going to 1v1 him at any point? Last time we saw they had Norelia on their team comp, but this time, if they want someone to duel Trick2g, it's going to have to be VoyBoy himself, which is something huge to give up, given that the majority of the team's gold is in VoyBoy and in Rumble.
Captain versus captain, that's what it's going to have to come down to. And oh, that screech across the map means that RF Legendary is going to be ulting into a tower, forcing Zen the Soul King to stop his back, forcing him to stop trying to push down that top lane tower. And SirhcEz used the ultimate, is going to be on a decent cooldown. Only has, well, it has about, how long is it?
Oh
90
my-
seconds
Like
left on that
nuts,
one. The
I'm
teleport is
acting
still
like a
available.
fucking fanboy. I'm
that's
sorry,
the
I'm
threat of this
sorry.
top lane Rek'Sai. Everybody thought this was going to be really powerful in the jungle. And you think about it, it's kind of like a twisted fate. It's got two ways to get into a fight when you're running at top lane with a teleport.
Well, the nice thing about it is that the cooldown on the ultimate is so short that if you leave a tunnel under your own tower, you'll always be able to ult back to lane pretty much every time you go back, you know, going back about every minute and a half. And then on top of that, you have that teleport for increased map movement anywhere, not just where you have a tunnel. So I would be surprised to see that top lane tower go down at all without a huge commitment of resources from VoyBoy's side.
Well, VoyBoy's team committed a lot to stealing away the red buff. They did pick up a kill on Sicko Scott. The red buff goes over to Ethel, but Trick2g, he's opening gates in the bot lane now. Second tier bottom tower goes down. Every single outer tower for VoyBoy's team is gone. Trick2g boots of mobility, bear stance pop, runs into VoyBoy though as he's trying to get away. VoyBoy trying to stick to him though, is going to be able to use that with Diana. The frozen tomb comes out from Strumpus. Is he going to be able to get away is a big question. He used the ice path to get in, doesn't have it to get out. He uses the Zanya's hourglass, but it looks like Strumpus, well, he gets down the frozen ring. Is he going to be able to get away? No, VoyBoy's ultimate comes back up, able to utilize that as well as the Crescent Strike, being able to pick up a kill on Strumpus. He sacrifices himself for the greater good of Trick2g.
And I think Strumpus may have been able to get away, but he definitely overestimated his damage in that situation. DFG, Alt, Q, W, the full rotation there wasn't enough to kill VoyBoy. That Abyssal Scepter, of course, on VoyBoy's side, stopping a lot of that damage. And in the end, despite VoyBoy's team picking up that kill on Strumpus, we still see that tower coming out for Trick2g, and we still saw just a ton of pressure being put on the map overall. Trick2g, of course, running around, baiting multiple team members on VoyBoy's side to chase him. And then, once again, we see Rek'Sai pressuring in that top lane, this time using that ult a little more aggressively.
Yeah, slowly but surely inching his way up and forward into that top lane, getting more and more aggressive on Zen the Solo King. He's got a 2-level advantage on Rumble, so he's not going to be afraid to exert that one. Already has picked up not only Merc Treads and a Maw of the Malmortius, it is going to also be a Ravenous Hydra, so split pushing potential. Ability to just not get blown up by Rumble spells. Really, really good item choices coming out from RF Legendary on this top lane Rek'Sai to combat against the Rumble. He's also drawing a lot of attention to himself right here. I think just Trick2g. He's got 3 members in the top lane going after him. He goes and tunnels down onto Biofrost. Tons of damage coming out right here. Biofrost drops down low. Thinkard's forced to pop the Cataclysm. RF Legendary just swimming around in the Cataclysm, says, you know what, I could also take this fight with you guys. Goes aggressive on the Zen the Soul King, forces out a Zanya's Hourglass. So that's an ultimate, a Zanya's, flash is being used, and Rek'Sai does wind up going down.
All right, well, 2 things here. First off, just noticed the Santa Baron hat, and that is awesome. Really excited about that. Just noticed that. On the other side, we saw, obviously, VoyBoy's team committing a lot of resources to that top lane to kill Rek'Sai, which is kind of what we expected. Those tunnels make it really hard to catch him. But we did see Trick2g not applying a whole ton of pressure in the bot lane, which means that Rek'Sai died there for pretty much no objective and for not really any game. And so a little bit of sloppy play from RF Legendary. You know, despite having that tremor sense, he still needs to have solid ward control if he wants to be successful in split pushing. And, you know, Trick2g obviously just not communicating that he didn't have the ability to pressure bot lane at the time.
Well, tricked him back, picked up a Hex Drinker for himself as Dragon Spawn, but RF Legendary has a teleport. Zen the Solo King's gonna get locked up in the Frozen Tomb. Rek'Sai gonna wind up going in, gets Monsoon backwards. Trick2g's on the backside of the enemy team, trying to pincer them in. It's 4 by the Dragon Pit. The poke coming out from Corki is devastating right now. Biofrost being taken down to about half HP. RF Legendary and the 4 members of the squadron trying to pressure them out. VoyBoy goes in, the Zanya's Hourglass pops. Strumpus has to wind up going in, uses his own Zanya's Hourglass, flashes forward, trying to pick up a kill on Zen the Solo King. Not gonna happen. The poke continuing to come out right here. The Dragon is still available, and Trick2g is pressuring an inhibitor tower while this is going on. RF Legendary getting taken low. Thinkard trying to recall here. You gotta stop the parts, boys! The recall goes off from Thinkard, though. Trick2g is able to pick up an inhibitor tower. VoyBoy's team is still by this Dragon Pit. Health bars are flashing down from both sides. Flash out from Zerbeck. Flash forward from VoyBoy. Goes into Sicko Scott. Zerbeck trying to turn around. Is he gonna want to pick up a kill on Biofrost? Yes, he does. Doesn't have a Valkyrie. Doesn't have a flash. He blows up Ethel. VoyBoy's the next target. He takes down Corki, but VoyBoy goes down. It is going to be a 3-for-2 trade in favor of Trick2g's team. Trick is recalled back to base. He's picked up some items, and now the Dragon is being started by the side of the blue team. Pings going down there. They see a teleport coming in from Zen, the Solo King. Feels like the never-ending fight, Steve, but you're never going to get to talk. It looks like Trick2g comes in. He's able to pick up a kill onto Rumble, but ThinkCard is on the outside. Is he going to be able to come in and steal this dragon away? RF Legendary is going to play zone control. Trick and Sicko Scott going to focus down on the dragon. That's going to be the second one of the game picked up for Trick2g's team. The pushing power on the towers is there for them. RF Legendary throws ThinkCard off away, and I'm going to stop talking right now because I got to catch my breath after all that action.
Well, now that you're done talking, I have to say I'm speechless after a team fight like that, but I guess I'll find things to say anyway. One thing that I noticed in that team fight was that Strumpus is having a hard time identifying the most appropriate target for his ultimate and for his skill set, and also overestimating his damage. But despite that, because Trick2g has applied such great split pressure, it doesn't really matter, because the longer he keeps them in those team fights, the more likely it is for them to trade even on objectives or to get ahead, just given how much pushing power this UDYR has. Now, especially with that second dragon buff. Alting the Rumble in that fight, little sloppy. Rumble's going to ult, and he's going to do everything he needs to, but we do see him getting the pick on Ethel, and that's what I think I want to see from Strumpus in every single fight, because he does enough damage with that DFG to kill Ethel, and Ethel may not do much now, but with that Rat-a-tat hitting multiple people in a team fight, he's going to make up for his lack of items pretty quickly.
So, Strumpus was able to identify the proper target right there, goes down to bottom lane, blows up Ethel, and this part due in part to the amount of mobility they have on Trick2g's team. Actually, 3 boots of mobility to be exact. SirhcEz has a mobility boots. Homeguard mobility's been on Trick2g as his first item purchase of the game after going for that Ranger's Trailblazer. He has since then upgraded actually to go for Juggernaut, so fitting name for Trick2g in this situation, but going for the tanky items, who's really hard to take down. Actually, aggression coming down. Strumpus trying to lock up onto Biofrost, and the Solo King burned his own Zanya's Hourglass in that situation. Biofrost sticking around, drops down extremely low in that situation. Trick2g's team putting forward a lot of pressure on this map. 54.1k is the goal for them. 46.2k is the goal for VoyBoy's team, so 8k deficit. The blue buff is going to be taken away here by Trick2g. ThinkCard tried to go in there, tried to smite it away, secured for VoyBoy. Wasn't going to happen. And now just look at all this. The blue team, slowly but surely, they have tunnels, they have wards, they have UDYR, slowly but surely creeping on the side of VoyBoy's map.
And unfortunately, VoyBoy's team is at the point where both RxI and Trick2g, well, sorry, RF Legendary and Trick2g can split push solo and provide a lot of pressure alone. And both of those champions, of course, are very hard to catch. So if they commit 1 or 2 characters to try to kill one, which is how many it's going to take, the other one is just going to split push, or the remainder of their team may have the option to collapse on them. So we're going to need to see some impressive decision-making here coming out from VoyBoy's team, or they're going to continue to get split pushed out of this game, and that's a quick way to a loss.
We also saw a little bit of a captain's duel going on in the bottom lane. Trick2g does have 1 level on VoyBoy in the mid lane, however, though, so it is going to be VoyBoy that was decided to run away. Trick, however, did lose his minions in the initial wave clear coming out from VoyBoy's Crescent Strike, so they did wind up both backing away to... Well, it looks like Trick2g went and picked up a Gromp for his trouble, and VoyBoy had to be sent back to base to heal after that engagement. Now we're going to see a new challenger approaching. Zen, the Solo King, goes down into the bottom lane by himself to try to stop the God Deer from split pushing. The same exact time, RF Legendary, like you said, it's a 2-pronged threat now. Jungler and Solo top, split pushing opposite sides of the map. The rest of Trick2g's team has grouped up towards the mid lane. They're controlling the forward pressure from those minions, putting down wards in the jungle to make sure both their solo lanes stay safe. The same exact time, this is also getting them really good map pressure to start thinking about going for Baron.
One of the prime weaknesses of both of these team comps is that neither one has a great ability to clear lanes. Obviously, Trick2g and RF Legendary can push very easily, but if they are under pressure or being sieged, they have very few options to kill minions. So if either team gets a Baron buff, this game could swing in VoyBoy's favor, or that could be the last straw for VoyBoy's team if Trick2g's team gets that Baron for themselves. So what I'm really hoping to see is RF Legendary to take this, and then for them to utilize this Baron buff that looks like it's going to be uncontested to push out those lanes in dominating fashion.
Scrying Orb was used, and that's enough to force Trick2g's team away. Their jungler was not over there to help secure the smite, whereas ThinkHard was. And speaking of ThinkHard, he's getting blown up by all this poke coming out from Corki. Zerbic goes over the wall. Arf Legendary's there as well. Good Howling Gale to disengage, but actually, it looks like Ethel's caught out here by Strumpus on the side. Frozen Tomb was used. Strumpus is going to get the heal off. A little visual bug turning completely golden, but Solo King's able to pick up a kill there with the Equalizer in a great position right here. Arf Legendary going in, knocks up VoyBoy and the Solo King. Monsooned out right there as looks like the Zanya's Hourglass comes up and Zen the Solo King. Zerbic and Trick2g able to put down the damage, pick up a kill. Etho also goes down to Arf Legendary on the backside. VoyBoy trying to chase down the Sicko Scott. Can he pick up the kill? Flash forward. Sicko Scott's spotting the locket, but he goes down. VoyBoy going to fall to Zerbic the exact same time though. ThinkHard is left alive trying to recall. Biofrost is the only other one as a support. Trick2g in the mid lane, going for the inhibitor. He opens up the gates in mid lane. Trick2g's team able to pick up a 3-for-2 favorable trade. Gates are open in mid lane, Sifa, and things are looking great for blue team.
Yeah, not so great for Biofrost. Once again, not a good ult there. Saving RF Legendary, pushing him out of the fight, allowing him to burrow, and then consume that Fury to heal up before returning to the fight. Trick2g obviously opting to push down that mid inhibitor while his team cleaned up the rest of the fight. And VoyBoy getting a kill, but at what cost? This is really the kind of sloppy trading we've seen from them now that they're behind. So VoyBoy's team, despite dominating when they're ahead and making great decisions, looking like they don't really know what to do against Trick2g's team when they're split pushing so hard.
Well, Trick2g's team did wind up losing 2 members, one of them being Arf Legendary in that trade, so not able to really go for the Baron off the back of that trade. We also have Lissandra with the permanent Zanya's Hourglass sound coming in. Zen the Solo King here. Gonna get hit up by DFG. Gonna get hit up by all the burst coming out from Strumpus. Teleport coming in from Arf Legendary at the same time. VoyBoy's team was looking to clear out the area by Baron, but they got cleaned out in bottom lane right there. Zen the Solo King just blown up by those 2 members.
And I don't necessarily think that RF Legendary teleport was necessary, but on the event that someone did try to follow it up, it would have ruined their chances at winning a fight. Simultaneously, it also puts all 5 members on the bottom side of the map and allows for an easy dragon.
Oh
now,
my! You like these nuts? Yeah? I'm acting like a fucking fanboy. I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
Team get that 3rd dragon, making it much more difficult for Trick2g to push. But this week we see them get it first, which means that Trick2g and RF Legendary are going to be that much more efficient at split pushing and that much more efficient about moving around the map.
That was just really funny to see a burrowed RexEz get knocked up and unburrowed by the Janna tornado and then go back underground. But the pressure being put on right now from all sides by Trick2g's team. They're able to wind up pushing out an inhibitor tower and open some gates in the bottom lane right here. This is what I was talking about in Champ Select. They turn into a siege team. They're all grouped up for this fight. VoyBoy's team goes in. VoyBoy jumping on Arf Legendary. Strumpus has to pop the Zanya's Hourglass on the one side. He's going down, but VoyBoy getting taken down low by Arf Legendary and Trick2g at the same time. Strumpus somehow lives. VoyBoy, is he going to be equally as fortunate? No, he's not. Arf Legendary picks up a double kill. ThinkHard goes down as well. Trick2g charging in. Ethel uses the Blade of the Rune King to disengage with UDYR. However, now it is 5 versus 3. 2 waves down in the base of VoyBoy's team. Could this be their first loss of the Omen encounter? Zerbic picks up a killing spree as Ethel goes down as well. 1 Nexus Tower is down, Sifa. Trick2g gets a stun on Solo King. The flash away. They turn down onto Janna. Janna goes down. Biofrost down. Zen the Solo King, the only one left alive. VoyBoy's team, they suffered the first loss in the tournament as the gates open for Trick2g's army, and they take their first win here at the Omen encounter in convincing fashion.
I'm absolutely blown away by the strength of this RexEz UDYR combo. It is so good. Both of those champions do so much damage on base stats alone, and even when they build mostly AD or offensive stats, they still have so much tankiness. They are so deceptively tanky because of that turtle stance from UDYR and because of that underground healing coming out from RexEz. Absolutely fantastic healing coming out from RexEz. I'm absolutely blown away by the strength of this RexEz.
Trick2g gets a stun on Solo King. The flash away. They turn down onto Janna. Janna goes down. Biofrost down. Zen the Solo King, the only one left alive. VoyBoy's team, they suffered the first loss in the tournament as the gates open for Trick2g's army, and they take their first win here.
Alright guys, I'm back.
Encounter
Watch that.
I'm absolutely blown away by the strength of this RexEye UDYR comp.